Hello and welcome to another episode of Taco Napkin Math by Smarty Pants Tutoring. I'm Dr. P, and today we are going to conquer PEMDAS with exponents. All right, let's get this party started. First things first, why in the world do we do the order of operations in this order? Well, mathematicians like procedure, and they also like things to be standardized so that when I'm sitting next to you across the room in another country, in another universe, math is going to be done the same way. All right. And so that way we know if you did something wrong because we love procedure. Okay. And so by standardizing the way that we solve problems, we make it easier to communicate mathematically. All right. So that's the why, in case you ever wondered. And next thing is always remember that we are evaluating PEMDAS always from left to right in the problem. So we're always starting from the left side of the problem. If we do something from the order of operations, we come back to the beginning of the problem and reevaluate from left to right, checking the problem from left to right, checking PEMDAS from left to right, make sure we have all our bases covered. Third thing I want you to remember is you are always going to be the prisoner of the parentheses. What do I mean by that? I mean that if you have parentheses and you still have operations going on in there, you have got to follow PEMDAS within those parentheses before you can move on to anything outside of those parentheses. All right. And the fourth thing I want to say to you is that multiplication and division, right? When I learned this, I had the impression, and maybe you did too, that because it says PEMDAS, I always have to do multiplication before division. And if I have addition and subtraction, I always have to do addition before subtraction. Not true, which is why I put this OR. This stumped me for a long time and kept me a math phobe for way too long. All right, so if you have multiplication in a problem before division, great. But if you have division coming up before multiplication, then you know what? You do division first. If you have subtraction before addition, you do subtraction first. All right, let's keep going. I'll show you what I mean. So let's look at parentheses. Here's our parentheses. Great. Now, like I said, prisoner of the parentheses, we have to do what's in there. So we come back to our PEMDAS. What comes after that? Exponents. Great. Do we have an exponent? Yep, we got to deal with it. So right here we have 5 to the third power, 5 cubed. You can say it that way, 5 to the third. All correct ways to say it. Okay, what does that mean? That's 5 times 5 times 5. 5 3 times, right? But we want to make sure we're multiplying it. So 5 times 5 is 25. 25 times 5 is 125. Okay? So now what we're going to do is I've brought down the answer to 5 to the third power, or 5 cubed. I'm going to also bring down what we haven't dealt with yet, minus 4, okay, and then divided by 11. All right, still prisoner of the parentheses. No, let me be free. Soon, I promise. Okay, so 125 minus 4 takes us to 121. We've still got that divided by 11. All right, but good news. Guess what? We are free of the parentheses. So now we can take 121 and divide it by 11 because it's the only operation we have left to do, and you cannot go wrong now. So ladies and gentlemen, 121 divided by 11 is 11. And just like that, ladies and gentlemen, you have learned how to do the order of operations with exponents. Congratulations. And I hope you'll come back and join us for another episode of Taco Napkin Math, where we break down math problems one taco napkin at a time. All right, guys, see you next bite.